Former U.S. Representative George Santos was sentenced to over 7 years in prison on Friday in New York, following his conviction on federal wire fraud and identity theft charges. The judge imposed the maximum sentence of 87 months just before noon in Central Islip on Long Island. Federal prosecutors allege that Santos exaggerated or fabricated significant portions of his personal history to deceive voters and donors in New York's 3rd Congressional District. He faced multiple criminal charges but ultimately pleaded guilty to 2 counts last August. John Durham, U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of New York, spoke to the media after the sentencing, denouncing Santos' actions as a disrespect to our electoral system, our representative government, and the people of New York's 3rd Congressional District. But today, Santos is finally being held accountable for his years of deceit, fraud, and theft, Durham continued. He will serve time in federal prison for his substantial fraud, for undermining our electoral process, for mocking our democratic institutions, and most importantly, for betraying and deceiving his voters, supporters, and federal and state agencies. This sentence sends a clear message that such behavior will never be tolerated. Nassau District Attorney Ann Donnelly added, "On July 25th, George Santos will finally be where he belongs, behind bars, answering for his actions." CBS News reached Santos by phone as he was on his way to court, and he expressed acceptance that the judge might impose a harsh sentence. He said he had no expectations about the outcome and would not seek a pardon. Santos, 36, entered the courthouse surrounded by reporters and photographers. He appeared somber, with red eyes, and embraced supporters before heading inside. During the hearing, the federal judge questioned Santos's lack of remorse, stating, "Where is your remorse? It's always someone else's fault." Santos read a tearful statement admitting he had shattered people's trust and apologizing for betraying his supporters and the institutions he had sworn to serve. He acknowledged the impossibility of changing the past, but requested a fair sentence, emphasizing he could still contribute to the community he had wronged. After the hearing, he left the courthouse with his attorneys. It is unclear when he will begin his sentence. Outside the courthouse, former constituents held signs that read, "Truth Matters," and "We refuse to be deceived again." One of his former constituents, Jody Cass-Finkel, expressed her disdain. "My reaction in sitting in the courtroom was, 'Cry me a river.'" Some supporters were present in the courtroom, including David Rem, who said, "Donald Trump will commute his sentence, and he should. And he should." Ahead of sentencing, Santos requested leniency, with his lawyers seeking a 24-month sentence compared to the 87 months recommended by the Department of Justice. The DOJ argued that Santos remained unrepentant, citing social media posts that showed a lack of genuine remorse. Santos had written a letter to the judge acknowledging the damage his actions had caused. "This case has cost me my congressional seat, my reputation, my livelihood, and, most painfully, the trust of those who believed in me," he wrote. "But saying I'm sorry doesn't mean I should sit back while prosecutors try to crush me." He also stated his desire for solitary confinement in prison. Santos had been part of the red wave in the 2022 midterm elections, helping Republicans gain control of the House of Representatives. He represented New York's 3rd Congressional District, covering parts of Queens and Nassau County. However, his lies began to unravel before he was even sworn into office. Federal charges were filed against him in May 2023, with additional charges following in October. The House Ethics Committee released a scathing 56-page report on his misconduct, leading to his expulsion from Congress, making him just the 6th House member to be ousted in U.S. history. Santos's fraudulent activities included creating a fake biography to secure political office, fabricating his wealth, and misleading voters about his qualifications. Prosecutors highlighted his false financial disclosures and attempts to forge a diploma, presenting him as a professional fraudster. Santos's crimes extended beyond campaign mismanagement. He illegally used personal identities to steal campaign donations, falsified financial records, and even lied about his unemployment status to collect benefits. Prosecutors detailed how he tricked both federal agencies and individual supporters. He didn't just pad his resume. He used a completely fabricated identity to manipulate the system for personal gain. said U.S. Attorney John Durham. The sentencing memo also revealed that Santos used stolen money to purchase designer goods and set up fake nonprofit organizations to solicit donations. He even claimed to have loaned his campaign $500,000 when his personal savings amounted to less than $10,000. From the moment he declared his candidacy, Santos exploited his campaign for financial gain, targeting vulnerable constituents, Durham said. This wasn't a mistake. It wasn't accidental. It was a calculated effort to defraud others. Roberta Reardon, commissioner of the New York State Department of Labor, expressed that stealing from unemployed individuals was a deliberate act, not an innocent error.